Good morning, good day, and good evening. Welcome to episode 136 of Tech of a Tea. I am, as always, your host, Brody Robertson, and today we have a returning guest. Welcome back to the show, Christian from the Digital Life. How are you doing?
Hey everybody. Yeah, thanks Brody. Thanks for having me back. It's great to be here again. It's been quite a while since we talked,
Yeah, I think,
I guess.
what was it,
Mi-
71, 72, your lot? 79, 79. So about a year ago.
Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. Time is passing by so fast. Yeah, that's crazy.
And can I just say, I don't know how you've done it, but you've managed to make your camera look really good even on Discord. Like, even with Discord's compression, it still looks really, really good.
I don't know. I just use the Camlink 4K from Elgato,
Yeah.
and I just use that as an input source for OBS, and that's fine.
What camera are you using at this point?
I'm using the Sony 6400. So that's a 4K DSLR camera. So
What's that one?
yeah,
Oh,
I know
that
that a lot of
one.
streamers and YouTubers use these Sony cameras. Before I had the 5100 from
Yep.
Sony. That's a full HD camera, and then I upgraded to 4K. So
Mm-hmm.
um, and that improved the quality a lot. Not just in resolution, but I also believe this camera is much better when it comes to color and yeah, the detail of the
Mm-hmm.
of
Well,
the sensor. It's always better.
it's definitely going to be better at handling like low light situations as well, which is the way you kind of have
Yeah,
your setup. You've got obviously your face and all that
absolutely.
lit up, but your background with a terrible camera would be pretty like blocky and it kind of look kind of messy.
Absolutely, yeah. I tried to film it with a webcam once. So like a Logitech C920
That's what you're
webcam,
seeing right
and
now
then
on Discord.
okay, all right, yeah. But in a low light situation, it just looks terrible. For usual meetings, I turn the lights on, or yeah, I open the windows and let the sun come in, and
Mm-mm.
then you have some natural light. Then it looks okay, I would say. But in a low light situation, no way. You need a good camera, and you also need a good lens for that too.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I learned.
Are you using your kit lens, or do you go and buy another lens for it?
No, I'm using the Sigma lens, this 1.4 lens, that what everybody else is
The
using
16
because
mil,
it
or is it?
yes, I guess
Yeah,
that's like yeah, that's this lens which creates this blurry background.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I saw that a lot of YouTubers, streamers, they all use this lens, I guess, because it's fairly cheap, I would say, or it's like a low pricing lens compared to what you can get. Yeah, and yeah, that looks great. Yeah, for what you get for the money, it's perfect.
Yeah, I'm using the same lens on the Canon side. But my camera
Mm.
is it's not as expensive as the one you've got. I've got
Ah,
a
okay.
I've still got my entry level camera, and I've been thinking of like, hey, maybe I should go up to the next tier. But the problem is that on the Canon side, they're actually like cutting out a lot of their like entry level, mid level cameras. Because they want
Mm.
people to move over to their like more expensive platform. So I bought
Ah,
the
okay.
Canon because
Mm.
I heard better reviews like for the low end, but looking on it now, like it may have been better long term to just go down the Sony side.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm not so into cameras.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just did some researching, and yeah, I heard a lot of good reviews about the Sony. I can definitely recommend this one because it's great.
Oh, if you just
And
want like an entry level camera, they're both perfectly fine. It's just whether you want to like
yeah,
keep upgrading down further down the line. If, then you might get a bit of a problem on my side.
yeah, I think you can. I think the best what you could do is you can upgrade to 4K. I think
Mm.
4K is definitely worth it. And yeah, after that, there you can go as far as you want, but
Yeah, you can get
there
a
is
red
just
camera.
a little advantage in the high price range. Yeah,
Mm.
when you go like you pay like double the price for the camera, then you got like 5 or 10% increasement for the quality. That's probably not worth it. But yeah,
Mm.
you need to find that sweet spot. I guess. And the Sony, the 6400 is great. Maybe I'll upgrade to the 6600 at some point because this one got image stabilization, which
Ooh.
this one doesn't. And sometimes it's a bit annoying, yeah, when I don't make videos in front of my desk and I use the camera to film something, yeah, then don't have image stabilization. That's sometimes a bit annoying. But yeah,
Mm.
I'm okay for now. I think there's nothing I would upgrade in the next year
You
in
say this
terms
now
of
until you see
gear.
something off to the corner of your vision, like,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
Well, I wouldn't say never, but
Yeah.
these upgrades, in terms of gear, I got everything that I need to make
Mhm.
great quality videos now. So I'm totally fine.
Yeah. Like, I think we've had this exact same conversation before. Like, you can just spend
Yeah,
as much money as you want. I like this
absolutely.
this microphone. We both have the Shure SM7B. This is a great
Yeah,
microphone. You can get more expensive microphones, sure, but like, you don't need
you
one.
won't see, you won't hear any difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like,
unless you're an audio professional,
yeah.
probably.
You could buy like a $20,000-$30,000 red camera, but like, do you really need like do 8K footage? Like, no.
This is useless. I mean, we're still talking about YouTube and content creation, yeah, not professional filmmaking. So then it would be a difference, obviously. But for what we're doing, I think we have already a pretty good gear.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
I can.
yeah, you like
But
there.
hey, who knows? Who knows? I just want to say one thing about the 4K. Who
Mm.
knows if we need that in the future going forward with YouTube? Because
Yeah,
for some
you
people,
saw
they
this as
just
well, did
canceled
you?
4K. I saw it on Twitter. Yeah, this is crazy. Someone told me that for some reason he didn't have the option
Mm.
to choose 4K in his videos,
Mm.
although he uploaded 4K videos, and then he was asking, so what the hell is going on? And I was wondering, yeah, maybe this is an issue or bug on his side, because for me it was all working. But then I read a post on Twitter. Okay, so YouTube has confirmed it. It has turned off 4K videos for some, um, yeah, people who don't have YouTube Premium. I have YouTube Premium, so I never had this issue. But I heard it from other people, so they can't watch videos in 4K anymore.
For anyone just
So
listening and
that's
who
yeah,
isn't up on the news, basically YouTube has begun rolling out moving their 4K video behind the paywall of YouTube Premium. Honestly, I don't think anyone would have had an issue with it if it was behind Premium from the start. Like if they rolled out
absolutely
4K, I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey,
that's
you
fair.
need to pay Premium. Like whatever, fine, that's okay.
Yeah,
1080p is like
no one
perfectly
would
fine.
care.
But the fact they've had
But
it
if
for years at
yeah,
this point.
it's always a bad yeah, a bad idea to take something away from people.
Mhm. Well,
They had before.
the thing with YouTube Premium is I don't really know what the value proposition is for it because it's so before it was basically just no ads. Is that
Yeah.
all you had with it before? Like, I don't have YouTube Premium.
Well, there are two main features that I can remember. I guess there are some more, but the main features I bought it for are no ads.
Mhm.
So this is very important for my son when he's
Right.
watching YouTube. He's 4 years old. And I said, yeah, he can watch some videos from, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's some child-friendly videos on YouTube. There are
Mhm.
quite a few ones that you can watch, but the ads are
Mhm.
really they are. I don't know what they think what they're doing there, but there are sometimes ads for yeah for some games or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you can imagine what I'm talking about. Yeah, some violent games or
Mhm.
half naked characters in a computer game, and my son is watching that. I don't think this is a good idea, so that's why I bought YouTube Premium.
Mhm.
And you also got, when you use YouTube on your mobile phone, you can't minimize it.
Right.
The
Right. I
video stops
forgot they
with
took
YouTube
that feature away
Premium.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still watch the video when you minimize it.
Mhm.
That's actually something that was really annoying for me. So I'm using this a lot.
Mhm.
So I, yeah, enjoy that I have it, but yeah, there are the two reasons why I bought YouTube Premium.
Mm. I think you can also do offline video on mobile as well, if I recall correctly.
Mm, Yeah, maybe that can be. I don't know, honestly, because I don't use it. But
Yeah.
yeah. But hey, who knows what they want to do with it? I guess they, or I heard at some point that they want to go more into the TV show business. So they want to. I don't know what the hell they want to do with it. If they want to bring up shows on YouTube, who knows?
Well,
But that might be
YouTube,
something they want to integrate in premium as well. Who knows? Yeah.
for a really long time, I don't even know if you even know about this. For a very long time now, YouTube has had a service called YouTube TV, which is
Okay.
yeah, you basically can like stream various TV channels like Fox News and MSNBC and AMC and all of that stuff.
Okay.
But like it's this whole separate thing that they don't ever advertise, so no one knows that it actually exists.
Okay, yeah, I don't know it as well. Maybe it's even not existing in Germany. Sometimes you have this.
Very possibly.
But yeah. But they always announce something they want to do, and then yeah.
Google is really great at like
see.
making these really cool ideas, and then no one knows about them, and then they're like, "Hey, chuck it in the bin." Like Stadia, for example.
Yeah.
Google Stadia.
Like,
Yeah,
I was about to mention that as well. Yeah, another great example. But I feel like that's what most big tech companies ran into. They have some great ideas. They publish something. Similar happened with Microsoft and the streaming service Mixer that they got, and Google Stadia. That was also a great idea, but now they canceled it. Well, I think I don't know so much about Stadia and why it wasn't a success, but I can imagine of two things.
Well,
because I thought about it.
I think one of the major reasons is like it just wasn't really advertised because Nvidia has their Nvidia, not Nvidia Cloud. You know the thing I'm talking about. They have their Nvidia streaming thing.
Yeah. Nvidia has it as well, and Microsoft as well.
Yeah.
Xbox Cloud. Yeah.
What Google could have done with Stadia. So I can't remember who said this, but what they could have done is, you know how on a YouTube video for like a game, it'll say the game under the actual video. If that game was on Stadia,
that would be great.
If that game is on Stadia, what they could have done is, if you click on that, it's like, hey, try this game on Stadia, and then like it just onboards people onto the service from their like existing service they're already using. Like that would have been like that would have made Stadia this massive success.
But absolutely, yeah. Yeah, who knows what happens? But I can imagine of two things. Yeah, first is I think a gaming platform stands and falls with the games, and I guess they didn't have any great platform games, or at least they didn't advertise them. And I guess that's what they were completely missing. Sometimes when you invent something like a technology, you're so excited and so engaged about the technology itself, because you can say, oh, we can do cloud gaming now. But all you're caring about is from a technical perspective and from a technology perspective, oh, this could change the gaming industry, blah, blah, blah. But what you're completely forgetting is the focus of the customer. So the customers want to play games. They don't care about the technology. They don't care if it's cloud or if it's a console they're buying. They want to have two things. They want to play games. They want to have fun, and they don't want to pay so much for it. So they want to have it for cheap. That's what they should have done. And I think Xbox and PlayStation, they do it better. They have their platform exclusive games. Stadia should have done something similar. Yeah, something. There should have been a reason why you would need to go on Stadia instead of buying an Xbox or a PlayStation. And another thing is, in my opinion, the price. Yeah, I think you needed to buy the games too, right?
Yeah,
you needed to have a subscription, plus you needed to pay for the games, right?
Yeah, there was the like the thing that the Nvidia service has, I believe that would like hook into your Steam library, so it used your existing games. Whereas this, you buy the license specifically on Stadia, and if Stadia shuts down or the game's removed from Stadia, well, you just
that's what's happening now, yeah.
Yeah, well, Stadia's removing itself, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I think that was a big issue. I mean, they are not even competitive with Xbox. Yeah, I just recently bought an Xbox Series X. Yeah, because I wanted to play some games. Yeah, and all you get when you buy this Game Pass for like $10 a month, you get like 400 games in this Game Pass, and you can play them on Xbox. You can play them on cloud. I can even stream the games from my Xbox to my mobile phone or play them directly from Xbox Cloud. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, you are just paying for this subscription, and I think this is Google Stadia is coming with their subscription. Plus, you need to pay for the games, and then you don't have any exclusive. I mean, they should have seen this coming. I guess, right?
Well, I'm looking at the list of games they just have available as a trial on Stadia, and there is nothing of note here. Now, this isn't all of their games, but like you would expect that if you have a trial, it would be like, hey, let's put some exciting game forward that's going to encourage people to want to sign up for our service, but there's just nothing here, and anything that is noteworthy is a game that you can get off of Steam for like $1 or $2, and it'll run on anything, like Golf with Friends or Overcooked. These are really lightweight indie titles that pretty much anything... Oh, sorry, I found one game.
No one cares about that.
Halfway down the list, Far Cry Primal. The one game that's remotely exciting on this list.
Wow. But yeah, you can get that on every platform, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's... there's no reason. But I guess that's always the case when, even when big tech companies, they want to break into a market that's already pretty satisfied. Yeah, I've seen similar things with the Windows phones, for example. Yeah, that was a similar thing where there was already an existing market that was satisfied, and then a big tech company, they had a great idea, they want to break into the market, but they don't give any reason why they are different. And then they also couldn't bring the developers on board to develop software for that system. And I think the same happened with Stadia, because they couldn't get game developers to specifically develop or make the games ready for Stadia. That was a big problem. Yeah. And I guess that's somewhere in the same area. Yeah, you need to somehow... Yeah, if there is already a system where developers are actively developing stuff, they got their tools, they got their experience, and then a completely new technology comes into the market. So how do you get the developers to develop for the new stuff instead of what they already know? And I think this is a very, very difficult situation.
Well,
I don't know any.
The same is completely true for some, with Mixer as well. They had to get creators onto the platform, but to get creators onto the platform, you have to have viewers. To get viewers, you need creators on the platform. So they paid for
that's a chicken and egg problem, Yeah,
YouTube, I think, is handling the streaming side a lot better right now, because they're starting to pay for a lot of big streamers to come over, but they're doing it in these sort of communities. So they're grabbing these people that all know each other, that play games together, who very likely share an audience. Whereas Mixer, they were like, hey, Ninja, have a lot of money, and no one else.
Yeah.
And the platform just died.
Then the intention was to bring some big names on the platform and everybody will follow, and this is just not true. That was a pretty big mistake.
You need to bring some of the... Well, YouTube also has the advantage that it already has that existing user base. So it wasn't like building something up from scratch. Like, people already were watching videos on YouTube. Going over and watching streams isn't, that crazy of an idea. They don't do a great job of directing people to the content, but it's, they're already here.
Absolutely. It's kind of crazy, but we can also compare this to cloud gaming somehow. Because I think cloud gaming, as well as live streaming, is something like a supplemental way of consuming content on a platform that already exists. Twitch might be an exception to this rule, but every other platform, like if you watch Instagram, they got live streaming. If you go to TikTok, they got live streaming. Facebook, I think even Facebook got live streaming.
It does, yes.
And with Facebook gaming, pretty popular. YouTube has live streaming now. Yeah, Twitch is the only platform that is just built around live streaming, and I think that was only successful because they were one of the first
back when they were just
game live
TV.
streaming popular.
I think they had streaming before YouTube did. I want to say they were the first big streaming platform.
Yeah, but they were the first made it
Yeah.
successful. Yeah, they made it big. Yeah, but now I think, and cloud gaming is in the same niche. I would say it's not like if you go and invent something like a cloud gaming platform. I don't think this will be ever successful anymore. You need to have something like a gaming platform like PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever, and then offer cloud gaming as a supplemental way of consuming games on your platform. I think this is the only way it can work. On YouTube live streaming, I see this as well. Yeah, I also thought a lot about if I should do live streaming on Twitch or on YouTube. Yeah, I struggled a lot. I still have my Twitch profile, but I'm not streaming anymore on the platform. But I also thought a lot. So which platform should I go on? And I think if you already got an audience on something like YouTube, so why not stream on YouTube? Yeah, it is like there might be a difference if you are a full-time streamer or if you are a YouTuber who occasionally do live streaming. Yeah, then it's like a supplemental part of your content. It's not like your content is built around your live streaming, but your live streaming is built around your videos or whatever. So then just use a platform where you're already on and use this way to supplement your content. This is
the only issue
a good strategy.
The only issue with YouTube is it's unclear whether streaming on the same channel that you normally upload to will start to, I guess, devour your your general viewership. Like, a lot of people have this concern where if you're streaming on your main channel, because your average watch time is going to be so low of the video, it's going to start interfering with your regular content. Because, you might have say you have like an average 6-minute watch time on your channel, but you do like 8-minute videos, but you still have maybe on your stream you have a 15-minute watch time, but it's a 2-hour live stream, so it's a much lower percentage of that content. The only issue here is that YouTube doesn't really make it clear how much of an effect it has.
That is right, but they don't make it clear at all. Yeah, they don't share so many details about how their algorithm works. But I'm pretty sure they can differentiate between videos and live streaming, and they handle it differently. We don't know for sure, but I don't think it will be a big issue. So when I do live streaming, I do it on my main channel for the simple reason that all my followers get a notification.
Yeah.
If I would start a second channel, nobody would watch it. So I would need to invest a lot of time and effort into bringing those people to my second channel. If it doesn't have a following or audience, doesn't make any sense to me. So why not just stream on my main channel? And what you can also do is you can when you upload those live streams, you can uncheck a checkbox so that they don't show up on your regular timeline, and then just put them in a separate playlist somewhere on your home channel, because people usually don't watch recordings of live streaming. So that might be a big exception. So some people do that, but the majority don't watch live streaming recordings because, why should they?
But because of this, weird confusion, I think one of the ones that does make sense is having a separate clip channel. Like, if you live stream a lot, and you have a channel where you do regular videos, it's probably best to split your stream clips out to somewhere else. Just because, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of them.
That might be right,
especially now with YouTube Shorts, where the way a lot of clip channels work with Shorts is that most Shorts do terribly. So you just upload a lot of them. You just
absolutely
throw as many out there as possible, and some of them will do well. And you'll slowly build up that audience, but I think Shorts is a weird one.
Absolutely.
I know she's still been doing some Shorts here and there.
I thought a lot about this too. But to be honest, I don't like consuming Shorts. I don't like making Shorts because it doesn't make sense to me. I did that just to try it out and see. But it's hey, I'm just making Shorts because this is a new feature and I wanna test it out. There's no real reason why should I make Shorts to inspire people or to get people to watch something or to learn something. It doesn't really make sense with the rest of my channel. It might be for other channels completely different, so they will will highly benefit from making shorts. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, you got a pretty good point with how does that affect your performance on your main channel. I actually don't know, but
Yeah, I
there's
don't think
one
anyone
thing
really does.
I'm a bit concerned about, and this is not specifically the YouTube algorithm, because the YouTube algorithm, I think YouTube algorithm knows what are shorts, what are live streams, what are videos, and it's just my assumption. I don't know, but I believe
would
this is
hope
true.
it does differentiate. Yeah.
Yeah. But the main problem I would think about is the main performance of your channel in regards to your sponsors. Because I know a lot of sponsors, they take care about what is the average view count on every single video. So that's how you calculate somehow the amount of payment you get from sponsors. So when I make a short that drags down my overall performance, yeah, it doesn't affect the YouTube algorithm. But when I go to a sponsor and I say, hey, I want to have X amount of money because I have an average view count for my videos, and then I say, oh, no, that's not true. Based on our calculation, it's down. And yeah, you included the shorts. But yeah, this is a discussion I don't want to have. I mean, it's like, I don't know how many YouTubers care so much about sponsorships, but that's something I care about. So I want to have a consistent view count, or a good overall performance of my channel. Just to make sure I know what I'm talking about, and when I go into a discussion with a sponsor, I can say, here are the numbers of my channel. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't need to discuss about live streams or shorts dragging down your performance. That would be So that might be a great reason as well why you may or create a second or third channel. Who knows? Well, but I know this might be not so important for every channel.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I think it's pretty clear that clips should be somewhere. I think that's a pretty accepted thing.
Yeah.
Streams, like, yeah, I when I was like streaming on like doing the Linux streaming, I was doing it on my main channel. I think if I was gonna start it again, I'd probably do the same, just because of the fact like that's where my audience is. But I do want to try it out on my second channel, just to see what happens. Like, see how many people I can direct from my main channel over to that channel. It could go terribly. Like, it certainly
interesting,
could.
yeah.
But it's worth at least experimenting just to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I started a second channel a couple of months ago. The second channel, this has my real name, and I make videos in German language.
Okay.
But I actually don't know what exactly I should do there. So I have some people, from my main channel, they are all tech guys. Yeah, they come to my personal channel, they wanted to see tech videos in German. And I say, that doesn't really make sense to me, because it's no different from what I'm doing on my main channel. Yeah.
Upload
so
the
why
same
not
video,
just do these?
just translate the script in the German.
Yeah, but honestly, this is so much work. I don't want to do the same stuff. It's a boring task. So I want to do something different on my personal channel, but I actually don't know what it will be. Yeah. I will take some time, think about it. Maybe I'll do some vlogging, or some, maybe even videos talking about content creation, whatever. Something that I don't do on my tech main channel. Something that I can do better in my main language, in German, because I can speak better freely in front of the camera. I don't need to cut out so many things, because when I speak in English, I would need to cut out so much stuff. That's why I script all my videos also on my main channel.
Don't worry about it.
I
only know English, and I'm bad at it. So look.
Yeah, well, the problem is, I can tell you where my struggles are. So here in a usual conversation, we can speak. That's what I can do. There's no issue. But when I need to explain technical things in English, that's where I struggle a lot. Yeah, especially when I dig into topics like the last video was about Active Directory that I did. And that's not my day-to-day work, right? So I just looked into that because I was doing some experiment. And I thought, let's do a video about Windows Server, because that's what I don't see so often on YouTube. So I wanted to do this, but I first need to learn myself about what are the details about Active Directory, how does it work, and then to explain it in a foreign language. Well, this is so difficult. I can't do this. So I need to write a script. I need to read through it like 3, 4, 5 times, correct it, and then I can make a video about it, reading from my script. So this is what works, and this also shrinks down the whole time that I need to spend in editing. Yeah, because that made me crazy. Yeah, I had to cut out every second, every third sentence.
Yep.
This was horrible, and I thought I need to change that. So I need to script my videos and word by word. Yeah, I sometimes start improvising something or add whenever it makes sense, but I script out every of my videos. But I don't want to do it for a second channel. That would be too much work.
Yeah, no.
So that's That's why that was also a reason why I thought, well, when I want to do a second channel, I want to do it in German. That's much easier for me, yeah. But who knows what I will do with the second channel? Yeah, maybe I will upload a few videos, maybe not. Whenever I find time, because my main channel should be my main focus. It's something I realized, yeah. When you start a second project, you are very excited about it, yeah. You spend a lot of thought process and time and effort into making the second channel. You are missing the stuff for your main channel.
Yeah.
And I got into trouble with, I'm a bit behind my time schedule. And I also started to make some mistakes in some of the videos because I haven't had the time to research it properly. And I need to stop making videos for my second channel, right? I need to really focus on my main channel now, and who knows what I will do in the second. That's what currently goes on my side. Yeah, that's where my struggles are with my second channel. It's like, yeah, and if you still got a main job, yeah, that's something you can't forget. I also got a main job. Yeah, I also need to care about. You just don't have the time to do it.
You will never have enough time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when
you just need to focus, yeah.
When you like sit down to do a video, like say your video on like your Windows server or anything like that, what is the general process that you usually take to actually go from nothing to completed video?
Okay, well, so what I first do is I have something like a list with ideas that I write down. So ideas for videos that I want to make, and then I do a research for every single topic that I want to make. So I've come up with a process that works now pretty well. But like if we talked a year ago, it was a complete chaos. So now I'm a better organized, I would say. Yeah. So I start with an idea that I have. Also, sometimes people on my channel they come up with an idea. They say, "Oh, it would be great to have a video about XYZ." Yeah. I think, oh yeah, maybe not. Yeah. Maybe. Sometimes.
Put it on the list.
Most of the times, yeah. I put it on the list, and then I do a researching first. Because I don't make videos for a single request.
Yeah.
That's I research if this is a topic that would actually work on YouTube. So I got a tool that I use to make some SEO and see if this is actually a searched topic. And if it is, then I come up with a title or a concrete or particular idea. So how I'm gonna pitch this video, right? So to speak. So what is the reason for making this video? What is the reason for watching it? And who is this video for? So I really write it down before actually starting working on this, because there's no reason researching a video that nobody would watch, right? I started doing this before, and that actually the result was I made some videos that worked pretty well, some videos which actually didn't work at all. And I was wondering, so why is this the case? Yeah, because in my head, it was a great idea. But that doesn't actually mean that other people are searching this on YouTube, right? And so that's why I use a tool now. Before I start working on this video, I research it. I give this video something like a ranking between low SEO value, mid SEO value, high SEO value. So high SEO values, these are videos I want to make as fast as possible because they are currently searched. They are interesting, so I'm going to write an outline for this video. I make some notes. I research the topic. I write documentation sometimes, depending on if it's a technical topic about a software or whatever. I test it. I document it on my my GitHub page and so on. And then I start writing a script. I record it. And I also came up with a process that might be a lot of work, because I record the
Wait,
A
this
roll.
is where the lot of work starts? I thought that early bit was the a lot of work.
Yeah, well, it is all a lot of work, yeah, to be honest. But yeah, the recording is recording is a bit of work, because first a year ago I started recording this on the fly, so to speak. So I with OBS and screen share and installed software. But the problem was I made mistakes so often. Then I need to roll back the whole stuff. I needed to stop recording, record it again. And that made me completely crazy. So that's why I came up with a script word by word. I record the A roll in front of the camera. I speak everything from the script. And then after that is completed, I start recording the B roll. So then I start recording what I do on my PC. And then in the editing, I somehow cut it together. I don't know if it's the best process to do it. It's actually a lot of work, but the result is the video is exactly how I want it to be.
Right.
So I want it to be on point. Yeah, I don't want to spend time saying 2 or 3 sentences that don't make that are redundant. I don't like this in the video. I cut everything out that is redundant. Because I like to have a video that is right from the beginning to the end, is full of content. Yeah, that people can watch and learn something, and yeah, they don't lose time on me talking about some random stuff or searching for a command I need to look up or whatever. So that's what I completely cut out. That's how I do it. Yeah, and then I do editing and publish it, write a description. Because I've all researched it before, this is not actually a lot of work. And yeah, that's how I do it.
If you had to guess, how long would you spend on a average video?
Wow. I would say, like, researching, probably. Yeah, it depends a lot on the topic. Sometimes I research that over a few weeks. Not spending every single day 8 hours. 8 hours a day researching, but
if you did, that can be a really well-researched video.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's I want it to be accurate. Yeah, but that's a pretty long time. But let's say like 4 or 5 hours of researching for a complicated topic, something about Active Directory, Windows Server, whatever. And then I write a script, so this can take pretty long. I guess like 3 hours, maybe even 4, depending on how long the video is. I read it through, correct it, then I start recording. Recording is pretty short. This is like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Recording B-roll is the same, and then editing like 3-4 hours sometimes. Yeah, editing is pretty long. And yeah, I add a lot of stuff like transitions, some background music, zooming in, zooming out when I record on screen, so I can see. Well, yeah. We are like over 10 hours per video, probably. Yeah, so it's a pretty long time. I
always like to hear everybody's video process. It's kind of interesting because everyone I've talked to has some like different method of doing it. You're like really SEO focused. I've seen some people that are more focused on like start with the information, worry about the rest of it later. And I've seen some people like that schedule out every single thing they're gonna do. They do like a Pomodoro timer, and they're working in these specific timer blocks. And I don't think I've spoken to anyone who's like, yeah, I just I follow this guide I found online.
Well, you can do that.
You can,
right?
yeah.
But to be honest, these are the videos that I don't watch. This is like, I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. Not so much tech stuff, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Most of the stuff I watch on YouTube are about entertainment, movies. I watch a lot of stuff about Rings of Power currently. So there is like a podcast. They have like an episode podcast that goes even longer than the episode itself, because they talk about every single detail. I watched that. Because I enjoy this, right? And when I watch tech stuff on YouTube, it really needs to be on point.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have time to watch a video where somebody just goes and speaks about, I found tool XYZ online, and this is my opinion about this, and blah, blah, blah. And then they make me try to install it. No, it really needs to be on point. I need to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few YouTubers who are tech YouTubers who and I enjoy watching, but to be honest, it's like tech stuff that I watch on YouTube, maybe 5-10%. And
Yeah.
the stuff that that I'm watching, this really needs to be accurate. This needs to be on point.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be boring. It should be somehow entertaining. Because otherwise I can go somewhere on a IT course site and watch an 8-hour course about Windows Active Directory, right?
Yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat. I don't watch anything that's like I don't usually go and watch like, hey, here's a distro review or something like that. If I'm watching something tech related, it's usually kind of like tech adjacent. For example, the PS5 recently got jailbroken, so there's a bunch of videos sort of explaining how that happened. Like that, I find interesting, but I'm not going to go and watch a video going on like the super technical stuff. It's sort of more about like what this means, how at like a higher level, how this was done, things like that. If I care about exactly, the implementation of how the exploit was done, I'm going to go and read the like implementation. Like that's a much better way for me to get that information. But I get why people like the video format of that as well. Like it's a lot of the stuff that I do. It's just not something that, considering that I do a lot of these videos myself, that I want to then go and watch something in that same vein after I'm already done. Like, if you probably don't want to go and watch the same sort of video that you're going to make anyway. Like, I just finished 10 hours of doing that. Like, I want to do something else now.
Yeah. Sorry, but can you repeat? I didn't get that.
What did I say? Something about you probably don't want to go and watch the same sort of videos that you would make on your own channel.
Okay. Yeah, interestingly, yes. Sometimes I do, but only when I search for specific topics. Yeah. If I want to learn something specific. It's something I even sometimes don't understand. Why are people watching so many tech videos? I don't know. But hey, it is what works. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But there's also something I try to skip a few things in my videos. So, of course, not the things that I want to explain, but my approach is this way. Yeah. I try to make videos about stuff that I'm learning because I'm interested in. And I explain the things that I believe are worth explaining, because this was the missing piece for me. Yeah. So I give you an example, because I had a comment lately about somebody who said like, well, I did a video about explaining self-signed SSL certificates, and I used the tool OpenSSL to create CA and create a sign-in request, sign the certificate, and so on, right? And somebody in the comments said like, you're using OpenSSL. Why didn't you explain how to install OpenSSL? And I said like, hey, okay. So first, if you're going to create a self-signed certificate, I guess you can probably find out pretty soon how to install a tool like OpenSSL. If not, well, then you got a pretty long way to go, right?
Should you also explain how you installed your operating system and how you built your computer and where you bought the parts from? Like, you have to.
Absolutely.
I get exactly what you're saying here. Like, I've had the same thing where I feel like initially I was going too far down that route, where a lot of my videos were going into those details that don't really matter. Whereas you've got to, it's very important to explain the parts that aren't self-evident. Like,
like, that's how I do it as well. That something that you would need to explain to somebody to understand it.
Yeah.
If this is a simple thing somebody could look up, well, then you probably don't need to explain it. But if it's something about, for example, the video about Active Directory, I could just go and make a video about, this is how you install a Windows server. Then you click on this button, create the Active Directory, then click on this button, and so on. But no, I also did a part with explanation about the Active Directory itself, because this is something very important to understand. Why why you should use it. This was the whole point of the video, because I wanted to explain why the Windows Server is still useful in IT business, right? This is a question I get from a lot of people. Hey, why don't you use Linux? This is, yeah, of course you can use Linux for these and these tasks, but there are specific tasks why businesses are still using Windows servers, and there are reasons for that. And I want to explain these reasons to you, right? And this is where I spend time, because I believe this is really the important part of the video that people need to hear. They don't need to hear, hey, you need to click on this button, then you need to click on that button, then you minimize the window, then you blah, 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 type in this. This is what people could look up, right? So I still do it, but I go over these parts pretty quickly, and sometimes I skip things that you could just Google in a minute or so,
It depends on whether you want to do a 2-hour video on setting up Active Directory, or whether you want to explain the important parts.
You can still do that, right? Yeah. There are probably a couple of videos that are 2 or 3 hours long about Active Directory. I get it, right? I also skipped a few things, like, but all those videos start with, what is an Active Directory? These are the objects, and this is a forest. This is, a domain. This is a subdomain, blah, 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 blah. I think this is what you can say in one sentence to just people understand it and get the idea of it, right? If people want to really know the details, they can still look it up. That's not my job as a YouTuber to make a course, right? I mean, then I could probably put it behind a paywall and let people pay for IT tech courses. But that's not what I want to do. I want to inspire people. I want to, make complicated topics a little easier to grasp. And you can only do it with some sort of being, on point, being a bit entertaining, maybe, and really focus on the parts that people, the missing pieces that the people miss to understand the bigger topic. That's how I do it, how I see it. And that's how I create my videos. But obviously, right, there are different types of content, different types of people. Some people watch longer videos. Some people prefer to watch shorter videos explaining things. Yeah.
Have you gotten,
but I really...
I get these occasionally. Have you gotten the comments saying, hey, why didn't you just... why does this video exist? Why isn't this just a blog post? Because I get those every so often. People who just really don't like videos. And I don't know why they're on YouTube, because like you've got this video website. Like, what would you expect to see here?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you got those crazy people. Yeah, I really expected much more pushback from people when I make this Windows Server video, because I usually make content about open source software, about Linux, and then I make a video about Windows Server. So this was like a shocking moment for some people. I don't know.
I think you put yourself in a good position with that, where you're not like a Linux channel.
Yes, that's
you're
right.
server DevOps sort of channel.
Absolutely, yeah. That is what I wanted to say, because this in the first days once I started on YouTube, I did some Linux content, and then I got some. I don't know, but I was in the corner of the Linux channel somehow. I don't know how I could come to this position, right? And it's not a secret
that
it's not a secret that I wanted to go out of this, right?
Yeah.
I did some controversial videos about explaining this, but I now believe I really thought about, should I make videos about these topics, because they somehow interest me. Like, I was thinking about a video about the Linux community and the toxicity in the Linux community. And I guess this is a pretty interesting video, yeah?
Good luck with that one.
What? Sorry?
I said good luck with that one. If you wanna get the Linux people angry, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, well, I don't care about making somebody angry. What I care about is explaining this to people who want to get into IT, right?
Yeah.
And then I also thought about this. Well, it could be an interesting video. I would watch a video like about the toxicity in the Linux community. But the second thought, it went through my SEO process, and then it completely falls down, because the key reason, what should be the key reason for me to make this video? Yeah, because just like I said, my audience should be about IT tech stuff, about technologies like DevOps, and why should anybody watch this video? Right? There's no real reason. What is what I want to teach or to tell the people? And that was missing for me. So that's why I didn't make this video, because I could make like a video 20, 30 minutes about ranting about about this topic. What is the problem? I even wouldn't say that the Linux community is toxic, because I think there are parts in the community who are, but I've made other experience as well, right? So I could talk about this probably, but I don't know. I don't want to be the guy who wants to be in the focus of this discussion. Yeah, this is why I started to position my channel differently, and I just focus on the stuff. Well, I want to educate people. I want to inspire and teach people. I want to focus on the positive things and not want to make a video ranting about something that I don't like. I think there's no point doing this. But hey, the channels are different, right? There are other channels who just focus their content on this stuff, and this is okay. I just want to be that. I just don't want to be that guy. That's not me. This is not me. I don't feel comfortable doing videos like that. So, but that was a pretty long thought process since I started on YouTube, because you have a lot of interest. Yeah, some are technical, some are non-technical. And you need to find your, you really need to find, your specific angle of so how are you going to present your videos? How are you going to present your topics? And this is what I was struggling the last months, really. And I think I now have a much clearer vision of what I'm going to do. And well, then I thought, well, instead of making a video talking about Linux community or whatever, instead make a video about Windows Server. Teach people something different. Teach people something positive that they can use, right? And this is something that I feel comfortable with. So that's how I got my channel probably in this position to make those videos.
The weird thing about the Linux toxicity thing is, if I made a video like that, my comment section would be full of like, yeah, Linux is really toxic. Linux is really toxic. Everyone would agree with me. People are like, fine. Like, and if I talk about like specifically Arch Linux toxicity or anything like that, everybody is in agreement. Like, everybody inside the sphere is allowed to rant about how bad the sphere is. Don't talk about it from the outside, though. They don't like that. But
that is true.
What I have noticed is, hey, you don't do this on your channel, but your Twitter, you do like to mess with the Linux people every so often.
Well, yeah, maybe, because I'm sometimes really angry about that, right? And this is something that affects me. You also said something like watching this from outside. I think I'm part of the Linux community, right?
Well, you're in this.
I'm probably not part.
It's not part.
I'm probably not.
Sorry. I was going to say, you're not part of like the Linux desktop space, which is the like the
absolutely
really angry, loud people.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah. I'm not part of this desktop community, right? But I'm still part of the Linux community because I use Linux a lot on my servers. Yeah, I use Linux a lot in my work, my day-to-day work. And yeah, why am I not allowed to speak? Right? Because that is something that is worth discussing, I would say. But yeah. So what on Twitter? Yeah, sometimes I get angry about these type of comments, or I watch something, or I make a video. Somebody is going to make a comment about this and that, and those comments that come from, I wouldn't say the Linux community, because as I said, this is a very small part within the community who is just disagreeing with everything that you're saying, or who just likes to be negative and make those offensive comments. And sometimes I just get angry about this, because I think my channel is not about that. My channel is about teaching something. And my channel is not about Linux desktop. So when people are telling me, hey, I'm using a wrong tool, I should use a different tool because of this and that, and why are you using Ubuntu on your servers? Why don't you use this and that? Sometimes I make a tweet about that because it really makes me angry. But yeah, I should stop doing this, to be honest, right?
No, it's funny.
It doesn't
keep doing it.
It's funny, yeah, maybe, but yeah. At least I shouldn't make videos about that.
Well,
right?
yeah.
I can
But hey,
tweet
look,
about
there's
this.
your do your second channel videos ranting about Linux in German. There you go.
This is something I really thought about, to be honest, because this would be, that would make perfectly sense because this is a topic that interests me personally. It's not tech stuff that I do on my main channel, but it could be part of my German content, right? But then in German community, it's the same, right? It's not very different. You get the only thing that you are going to achieve is to get a lot of people angry, and for what? Just to be part of this YouTube Linux drama. That's not me.
It's fine. I'll take little Linux, the Linux YouTube drama. I'll happily live in that space. Like, I don't try to make drama videos all the time, but it is kind of funny when certain distros keep making mistakes over and over again. Like, I could not talk about them. Like, that's an option, but it's also really funny. And like, this is the sort of stuff that's really interesting me. Like, I want to talk about what's going on. And like, I don't know if you've seen any of the recent stuff I've been doing, but the way I like to dig into a lot of these, any drama topic, like for example, the one that just happened a couple of days ago. So I don't know if you know about this, but there is a project called Asahi Linux, which is to get Linux working on the M1 Macs. It's a really cool project.
Yeah, I didn't watch that yet, but this would be something I would watch. Yeah.
The devs are really cool people. I've had one of them on the podcast before, but Manjaro decided to ship a broken version of their kernel, and it's just like, guys, they literally told there's a reason they don't ship this to their users. Like, stop it. So I sort of dug into all of the stuff that was going on, and rather than just be like, hey, Manjaro bad, they did this thing, I go over the explanation of what was happening and why this happened and sort of what they could do better in the future. Rather, like, I think adding that extra context is where you can turn something like that into an actual interesting video, rather than just being angry for the sake of being angry.
This is
that out there already.
Yeah, but this is why I would watch such a video, because when I want to inform myself about a topic, like you took your time. I don't know how many hours you spent on digging into these different things and what was published, what was said by this and that, and how is it really, and so on. I don't have the time to do that myself, so I'm going to watch your video, which is like 10-15 minutes, and then I'm perfectly informed about this topic. So this is really nice. So this is also something that I sometimes watch. I think I need to watch some content about the M1 Mac, because I'm really interested in Apple and Mac recently. I started because I bought the M2 MacBook Air.
Yeah.
And now I'm really thinking about, well, at some point I should switch my main PC from Windows to Mac. Who knows? I'm really interested in this topic. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you what your, like, I know you've got a lot of systems. Like, you've got your home lab. You've probably got a Windows system, at least one of them. You got your Mac. Now. What do you actually like use as your daily driver, or do you swap around for different things you're doing? Like, what do you typically use?
Yeah. Currently it's a mess, to be honest, because it's like a mixture of Windows and Mac.
Yeah.
I wanted to use my MacBook Air more because I really like it. I like the system. I like the hardware. I also like the operating system, and I want to use that more, but there are still some tasks I can't do on this laptop because it doesn't have the performance. I still need a Mac for a desktop use case, but I don't have that right now, so I still have my PC. And now I have something like as a mixture. I have on the right screen I have my MacBook Air, on the left screen I have Windows, and I need to switch around them. That's technically it's working pretty well with Synergy. So this is an app that you can use the same mouse and keyboard on 2, 3, or more different systems, and that works pretty well. But sometimes, you can't easily copy something, or live streaming is also a bit difficult, or to record something, because I have the Windows on the left side, the Mac on the right side. I started recording my screen shares on the Mac now. Because I just like the system, and I start to build my workflows on this operating system. Like, my favorite terminal program. Actually, I have now found a terminal program that only works on Mac, but this is my favorite now. I would love to use that on my desktop PC as well. This is I need to buy a Mac somehow. I need to switch it at some point, I guess. But yeah, it's I'm still waiting for new Mac Pros to be released, hopefully next year, and then I will probably buy one and switch. But yeah, this is so I'm switching operating systems quite often in the recent years. I started using Windows, and for work, like 7 years ago, I used Linux a lot. Even on desktop, yeah, I was a Linux desktop user these days, and yeah, then I switched back to Windows for reasons. And now I'm probably switching to Mac. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I actually don't care so much which operating system I'm working on. I just use what I like and what makes the most sense for me in my workflow now. And yeah, currently I'm really excited about Mac, to be honest.
So, for your workflow, what is the selling point of Mac? Like, for context, the last time I daily drove a Mac was Mountain Lion. So, a while ago.
Okay, yeah.
Why do you want to use a Mac? Like, what's bringing you towards that system?
Yeah, so the reason why I originally went to Mac was the MacBook Air. And this has nothing to do with the operating system. This is just about hardware. I was searching for a laptop where I can do video editing. And this laptop should be small, it should be light, and it should be powerful enough to handle 4K videos without any issues. And when you start searching for a laptop, you barely find any, yeah, at least in the Windows space. Yeah, you can find these 15, 16-inch gaming laptops, which are this thick, right?
Yeah.
Or you can go with a really, really expensive laptop. Or if you want to go this light, you want to have a thin laptop, then they only got internal graphics cards, which are usually not powerful enough for 4K. So
yeah,
I had a problem searching for a great laptop. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe getting a Samsung, but they don't have a dedicated graphics card. I was a bit in trouble searching for a laptop, and then I thought, well, what about the MacBook? Because I heard a lot of good reviews about the Apple Silicons, the M1 chips. And then they announced, at the same time, when I was searching for a laptop, they announced the MacBook M2 Air. And I thought, okay, this is a perfect laptop. This is what I need. I did a research. Can you do video editing on a MacBook Air? I thought maybe it's not powerful enough. Oh boy, it is, right? It even renders faster than my PC with a dedicated graphics card. This is so crazy. Even 1 minute faster rendering a 4K video. I don't know why. There are certain tasks which which the MacBook Air can't do. For example, when I have like a 4K cam link on and do streaming and this kind of stuff, then the M2 processor is not powerful enough to handle the CPU intensive stuff. But for a graphics, maybe there's an issue on my side as well. I need to test it again, but I got some problems with that kind of task. But for video editing, this thing is really crazy fast. And I thought this is just like the perfect system. And now I also, the more I dig into the operating system, the more I like it, because I'm on the Windows side, I always had the problem of using Linux tools on Windows. I got a pretty great solution with WSL2. That works pretty well, but it is an extra layer, right? It is an extra layer of virtualization that causes some hiccups and some problems sometimes, especially with networking and so on. And there are some things are kind of difficult where you need to find workarounds. Yeah, it's working pretty well on Windows side. You can absolutely use it. I like it, but yeah, to have like a Unix-like system, yeah, directly accessible, that makes a difference for me, right? So that's why I like macOS, because it's really, for me personally, it's I think I tweeted it one time, and now I get Linux people angry. But I said, yeah, macOS is the best Linux distro. Yeah, this is obviously a joke. Yeah, so please.
Yeah, it's pretty obviously a joke.
It is obviously a joke, but on Twitter I had 20, 30 people explaining me why macOS is not Linux.
But
and I said, yeah, I know, guys,
right? BSD is not actually Linux. Shut up. No one cares.
It was And it was so crazy, yeah. That is where I got a lot of people angry for, I don't know. It was obviously a joke, but some people
Obviously,
took
yes.
that. So there were so many people explaining to me why macOS is not Linux, and they were so detailed. Yeah, they sent me like multiple responses, multiple tweets, and they sent me like a Google link where I can look it up and so on. So they were really highly invested into convincing me this is not Linux. Okay, right? I got it, guys. Yeah, I trolled. I trolled some of them. I just responded. Really? Why? Can you explain this once more, please? Because I didn't get it. But yeah, this is Twitter,
Linux,
right?
bro. It's just Unix based. Oh, someone got it. You're trying to start a riot. Okay, one guy picked up on it. It doesn't even use the kernel. You know what does? WSL2. Windows is the best Linux desktop. True. Very true.
This is also great, right? Yeah, so that's why I well, back to the topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I like macOS, because I can use my Unix like tools, right? The terminal ZSH and a bunch of other cool stuff that I use there. And yeah, I got it. The terminal application I recently found is pretty great.
What application is that?
And sorry, what?
What's the application called?
Warp Terminal. And I guess that's only available on macOS, as far as I know.
That's ringing a bell for some. I don't know why it's ringing a bell. Oh,
well, Warp Terminal
I know about this one.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
It's pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing. Yeah, you can do a lot of interesting things. For example, when you are in the terminal, you can use the mouse cursor to move around, even in a text document. When you're using the Helix editor, I don't know if you know Helix, but it's similar to Vim. It's a bit different, but Helix is something like a Vim-like text editor. But it's not Vim. It's not. You always need to add this, right? But when you use Helix, which is a terminal editor, you can use the mouse cursor to even select text in this editor and use it for copying or moving around. It's pretty nice. And the Warp Terminal also has AI-based suggestions for commands, and it is really great. So it feels like a sophisticated, modern terminal application. I really like this a lot. And this is, as far as I know, only on Mac. So
yeah, someone told me about it like maybe a year or so ago. They are planning to do a Windows and Linux version, but right now, yes, only on Mac.
Yeah. So this is one application that I really love, and all other applications like DaVinci Resolve. Okay, this also works on Linux, but Affinity Designer.
No,
it
really? does.
I don't know.
Okay, no.
Okay, well, I know it is available.
Let me explain DaVinci Resolve to you on Linux, right? So DaVinci Resolve on Linux.
Go on.
The free version, you cannot render in 1080p.
What? No, why? But you can render in 4K or what?
No, you can't do above 720.
What? Okay.
This is the free
version.
So
then it's not. Okay. Well, then it's not working on Linux.
Well, it's because of weird like codec stuff or something. Like it feels like a video editor from like 15 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I didn't know that. But yeah.
Yeah. There are
another reason why I'm not switching to Linux for the people who
my video editor doesn't have GPU acceleration.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, because the only video editor on Linux that has working GPU acceleration is Blender. You know, the 3D modeling program.
But I just don't know it as a video editing program. Oh man, yeah. This is usually on Linux you can get this stuff to work sometimes, but it's always like you need to invest so much time into tinkering and finding workarounds for stuff that already works in other operating systems right out of the box. So but anyway, I don't want to go into this topic. Maybe you, I don't know. But that's another reason why I use a Mac or Windows, just because these programs work better on these operating systems, right? And Mac for me is the perfect of both worlds. It has the business applications. It has email programs. There you even can run Microsoft Office on this if you want. You have designer, creative applications on Mac, but you still got this Unix-like underlying system. Yeah, you got the terminal apps, you got the Unix tools and all of this stuff. And this is for me the perfect, because I'm living in both worlds, right?
Yeah.
I'm a technical guy, who uses this for work, but I'm also a creative person who uses this for content creation. So Mac seems to be, honestly, the best system for me. The only thing that I don't like is you only can do this with Apple hardware. But since Apple has done some really great hardware recently,
I think a lot of people don't
also
want to admit
something.
that. But yeah, the M1, M2 systems they're impressive pieces of hardware.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is just a reason why. So there are this is I don't choose a system or software based on if it's open source or not. I don't care about this. I care about if it works for me. How much does it cost? Does it do the things that I need to do? And yeah, Mac OS currently just seems to be the best fit for what I'm doing. It might change. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, I'm not really saying, oh, Apple is the best and I'm only buying Apple devices. However, I need to say Apple devices make the most sense when you get everything from Apple.
Yeah.
Because they just work the best together. Yeah. But I'm not really saying, oh, okay, I'm only using Apple for forever or something like this. Completely crazy. It's just currently the best fit for me. Might change in the future. Who knows?
Well, something else you've definitely got a lot of is your home lab. I saw a couple of videos of the server you're running. I've got a 6-port switch under my bed. That's the extent of my home lab. It's a $50 Netgear switch. You've got a lot more than that.
Yeah, obviously. But hey, this is what I do for my main job, right? I'm in network security, so I need to do this stuff, right? And that's why I started my home lab. I started this like setting up this like a playground for what I'm doing at work. But because you often have this situation when you want to explain something to a customer, or you want to, maybe a customer has an issue with something, you want to troubleshoot it. You just need the devices. You need this to recap what is the problem, to learn and how the customer is really using that, right? And that's why I got a lot of networking devices, also network security devices in my home lab. And the servers are usually for my NAS storage. That's what I have for, mostly for the video files, storing this on my network. And the other server is for creating virtual machines. So there I'm testing stuff like Windows servers where I can play around with Active Directory. So I really can set up this home lab just like it would be a small to medium-sized company, right? I can spin up a Windows server, creating an Active Directory, maybe just have one Windows client as part of it, but I can create a user. I can connect it to the firewall. I can check how is the authentication with LDAP or Active Directory working with firewall and stuff. So really, I can replicate at least the most common use cases in these professional fields in my home lab as well, and that was the main reason to build it like this. And I obviously also got an advantage because I didn't pay for the switch and the firewall, because this is from the company where I'm working for. So that's why I got these, right? Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have them because they usually cost a few thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a pretty big switch for a home setup.
Yeah, and this is even the smallest rack switch that we got. You can even go bigger. I mean, we are not really a switch vendor. These are the first switch models that we have published or shipped, right? And of course, I wanted to get them because customers are asking me for that. I also got people in the community asking, hey, are these switches any good? And yeah, of course, I need to test them when I'm working for this company. So I just ordered them, or I just ordered this one that I got. And it also powers my home lab, all my access points and all this, and the network connections.
If you had to guess, You probably don't want to say this number, but if you had to guess, how much money is sitting in that in your servers?
So you mean an entire home lab
Just
without the PCs,
yeah,
right?
just
And
without
just the home lab
just the
itself.
home lab, yeah. Just the hardware costs, yeah.
So when I add the numbers for the firewall and switch, which I didn't pay, I would say like 8,000-9,000, somewhere like that. all together, yeah. I would say, yeah. Yeah, you need to say the rack alone costs like 500-600.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
And the NAS, the hard drives, this entire machine costs 3,000. The firewall like 2K, 3K. I think, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just realizing this is crazy. This is just crazy. Yeah.
Well, look.
Yeah, because you start pretty small. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you add another machine. You want to do something different. You add another machine.
Yeah, it's not like
you don't
drop,
buy this all at once.
You didn't drop 10 grand all of a sudden. It's like, hey, I want
No,
this and
no,
I
no,
want
no.
this.
No, I
Then
won't
you
do
realize,
this. Yeah.
oh no, I've just bought a car.
Yeah, but it's really crazy. But I see this as part of my business.
Yeah,
I see this as part of not just for my main job, but also on YouTube. Yeah, it allows me to create videos about all of this stuff, and this is what makes money as well. So I see this as usual expense.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Like, if you're doing this just as like a hobbyist thing, you know that might be a big deal. But if it's going to be used, to whether it's just for the YouTube or whether it's for your like day job, like I think that's when you can start to justify making big expenses like that. It's not an area that I personally have like a deep interest in, but it is something I would like to maybe try out at some point. Like, I've done some, some stuff with a VPS. Like, that's the extent of my messing around with servers. But it would be kind of nice to have something local that I can start like actually mess around with.
Yeah, I also tell this to people when they ask me always, you don't need a big server to start. Yeah, you can just buy a Raspberry Pi and install Ubuntu server on that and start from there. There's really not so much that you can't do. Maybe you can't do virtual machines. So what I strongly would recommend people to start with a home lab is get an old PC. You probably have something like an old PC somewhere that you don't use anymore. Yeah. Or maybe if you don't, just buy an entry level or a used PC on eBay, right? And install a hypervisor on that, something like Proxmox. Or you can do VMware ESXi or XMPNG. It doesn't really matter. Or you can even use Windows Hyper-V if you want to do that. Just try it out and start using a hypervisor. Then start creating some virtual machines. Test different Linux distros. Yeah, maybe test Windows Server, whatever. But this is the core foundation of how you're gonna start this. And you actually don't need expensive equipment to do it. The stuff that I only got it for a very specific reason, and this is because I use it for work. If this is a hobby, I would never do this. I would never buy such expensive equipment because the current process that I have since I started the YouTube channel, I built this up and I added more and more stuff. The process that I have now, because we have this big crisis, this energy crisis in Germany, because of the Ukraine war. I don't know if you know what's going on here, but we have really big problems. We have like 6, 7, 8 times higher costs for energy. Jesus. And for power, I think the costs have doubled, 2 or 3 times more for power costs like it was a year ago. It is crazy in Germany. So we currently have a pretty big crisis here. And what I'm currently working on is shrinking my systems a bit down. Thinking about how can I maybe move some productive systems like my DNS server. What I need 24 hours. DNS server needs to be online. How can I move the DNS server maybe to a more efficient machine? Maybe to a Raspberry Pi. So I'm making a video about that, how to get a Raspberry Pi and moving on the Docker containers for my DNS server over to this smaller machine so I can turn off the big server and only run it when I really need it, when I want to play around with Windows Server or virtual machines. Because all the rest of the day, this server can be off. So I'm gonna make a video about that as well. So how to optimize the power costs and how to save energy in a home lab, because I think this is a really important topic currently that really interests me, because I think, yeah, how I think about this, right? We all have these problems in the world. Yeah, we have this climatic crisis, we have with global warming, we have the Ukraine war, and we see as our society, our resources, yeah, are limited. We need to save resources. We need to change our minds. Yeah, we need to change our ways. And how can I sit here in my office, have this 10 grand home lab running 24 hours for what? Yeah, that's what I want to change. I want to really change that, and I hopefully can make a few inspirational videos how to do that and come up with some ideas, because I think there is a movement, especially in the home lab business or on YouTube, where people are always presenting the next big server machine, the next what else rack server. Oh, I got a new, who knows, 5, 6 grand new powerful server. You see those videos quite often. No one is talking about how can we save that a little bit, or how can we shrink this down. This what I want to do the next couple of months as part of my project in my home lab, and yeah, hopefully use that to make some great videos. And this is always what I say. Yeah, you don't need this big stuff. You can start very small. Yeah, and you can go big as big as you want. But actually, the software is the same. The software that's running on a petabyte server is the exact same software that you can install on a small refurbished desktop PC for $100.
Yeah,
it's the exact same software. It's not as powerful as that, but you can still learn the technology. You can still learn the processes. And this is what I always tell the people how to start. There's really not much of a difference.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people get excited about the really big stuff. Like, hey, I want to jump right into that. If we like link it back to like where we started with the discussion, like all the way back at the start, a lot of people make this mistake with buying YouTube stuff as well, where they'll just get started and like, hey, I want the $2,000 camera, I want the $1,000 microphone, and you're just starting out. Like, you don't know if you're gonna keep doing this. You don't know if it's gonna really, if it's like massively overkill for your workflow. I think, yeah, especially when you're starting out with anything, you're better off just trying it out first, going with the thing that's gonna, get yourself involved in it, and then go from there. Like, sure, you're going to, in the end, it's gonna add up to be more money than you would have spent, but also it's much less money if you decide that maybe you don't want to keep messing around with this stuff. Like, one thing that I'm doing, for example, is it was supposed to be here last week. It's supposed to be here sometime later this week now, is I'm going to start learning guitar soon. So I could have went and bought like a $3,000 guitar, but like, that's stupid. Why would I do that? Why I should go and buy like, like I should go buy like an entry-level acoustic guitar and get started like that, and then if I keep doing it, then sort of go from there and build up experience, decide, hey, maybe I want to get this bigger thing, and maybe this is going to better suit my workflow now. And that's sort of true for pretty much anything you want to do, not just tech, pretty much anything. Just start small and then build up from there.
Yeah. I also think like with a home lab especially, this is when the people start watching Linus Tech Tips video with petabyte server and say, I want to do the same. I think, but at some point, videos
like that are
you
exciting.
Need to be
like
realistic.
They're cool and exciting though. Like that's why they get views.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true.
But I do think there's a lot of value in the. I don't know how many people are actually talking about, but I do think there's definitely a lot of value in discussing, like, even if you don't really care about the climate and all that stuff, just saving money on your power bill. I think that's something that will interest a lot of people when it comes to messing with this really power-hungry tech, like, a big server's going to be.
Yeah, that's also what I need to think really careful about. So I'm really interested in these topics like global warming and how to save energy because of these reasons, also the Ukraine war and so on. But that might not be the case for other people.
Mhm.
And I don't want to point the finger on other people saying, hey, you are running these big servers, you are a bad person. This is not what I want to do. So I'm really, focusing again. I try to be as less controversial as I can be.
Framing it in
Try
more
to
of like
focus on the tech.
framing it in like
inspiring
a
topics,
helpful way that's gonna, show you how to do something rather than like you're bad person. You should be doing this. Do it my way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, if you want to change something, I always say you need to start by yourself. And that's why I'm doing this project in my home lab, just as an example to show people how they can do it. But I'm not saying, hey, you must do it this way.
Yeah.
This is stupid in any way.
No, I do think that would be really interesting to see. Like, I don't have a home server myself, but I think there would be an interesting way to, I've got my $50 Netgear Switch. But I think this would be, if you can present it in an exciting way, present it in an interesting way, would definitely be worth putting the time into. Like, if you're doing it yourself anyway, so it's one of those things where like you're doing it, so you might as well share that knowledge with other people, because maybe a lot of other people didn't have that knowledge themselves.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the whole reason why I'm doing these videos. Yeah, I usually cover the topics that I want to learn myself, and then I share it. This is also, we had this discussion before when I said, people are suggesting new topics. But I don't follow this too much. And I know some people would want to have a video about software XYZ. Maybe recently I made a video about a tool that I use for my technical documentation, and I got so many responses like, hey, what about this other software? What about this other system? And I thought, like, okay, I can do these guys a favor and test out every single software they just mentioned and do like a comparison video, but that honestly, there's no point for me doing this because I already made the point that I wanted to make in my last video. And this is about how to use this tool to write technical documentation. This was not about a software. This was about how to write technical documentation and how to use Markdown for doing this. And I just used a tool. I could use any other tool, right? And this is sometimes what I don't understand, when people are always so focused on these particular solutions, or these programs, rather than the stuff that you want to accomplish with it. This is actually more important than which specific program you use. You often have so many alternatives, you can't try them all out. But at some point you just need to decide for one, and just use it. And if it's good, then just stick with it. Why would you try out 10 different things that all do the same kind of thing? It's just, for me, it's a waste of time. But it's for other people it might be interesting to know. I don't. But you need to find the way how you want to create your content. You need to find your way of doing things. The same like with this home lab and energy stuff. Some other people might be excited to see the next big machine and the next big server. But that's not me. I'm excited to learn new things and do projects, and I'm not so interested in the next big hardware machine. I'm more interested in what you can do with it and how you optimize it and so on. But that's that can be different for other people. That's
I think there's definitely a place. Like I certainly do a lot of the, hey, I've done a bunch of videos on a bunch of different terminals. At the end of the day, they're all a terminal. Like, it doesn't matter if you use iTerm, you use Alacrity, you use the Windows terminal. At the end of the day, it provides you a shell prompt. You run your commands. It's gonna do the thing. Like, that's all that matters at the end.
That's it.
But there is that audience that does like to see the comparison between the different software, even if the workflow may be very similar. It's like, hey, what does this specific thing add to the workflow? What does this let me do that maybe the other application doesn't, or maybe like a workflow optimization or something along those lines?
Absolutely, I can understand that. I also sometimes do comparison videos about software when I tried them already out. It's just like I don't follow every single suggestion to test out something that the audience wants. That is the main part, but I can see where this is going, and obviously there is a big interest in software, because you as a viewer, you don't want to try it out. You want somebody who has already tried it out to explain what are the difference. Then you can make your decision based on that video. So I totally get it. That's a valid reason. I just say, like, this is where I struggled a lot in the beginning, trying to find my way of doing things, and which topics are really interesting me. Because if you just follow what other people say that you should follow, you don't become happy doing this a longer time. So this is, I'm now at a point, I'm doing this for more than 2 years now. And at some point, yeah, if you do stuff that doesn't come from yourself, so if you just do something because it works great on YouTube, or because other people are telling you to do it, this becomes more of a job than something that you actually enjoy doing yourself.
No,
that is the point. Yeah.
I definitely know exactly what you mean there. Like, I've thought about, if I wanted to do, like, firstly, if I wanted to get views on YouTube, I wouldn't be doing Linux videos. I'd be doing, calling dead people at 4 a.m. videos. But if I wanted to get views in the Linux space, I would be doing distro reviews. I would be like, hey, is Linux Mint better than Ubuntu? Is Ubuntu better than this? And I could do that. And a couple of videos, maybe it would be exciting. But I would drive myself insane so quickly. And
I can imagine that, yeah.
Even though I've been in sort of mostly in the Linux niche the entire time I've been on my channel, I've certainly been experimenting with the type of content I've been doing. Like, there was a period where I did, I don't know what, some of them did relatively well. I did a lot of videos on Vim plugins, a very specific part of the Linux niche that somehow does well. I don't know why. But there are a lot of people that care about Vim plugins. And then I went to do a lot more of the, the software showcase stuff. And now I'm more in the deep dives into Linux news topics that are happening. Like, I did a deep dive in the fact that Rust is going to become a supported language in the Linux kernel within, I think by December, it's going to be added. The support's going to be added. Like, this is a really exciting topic, and this is where my focus now lies. But hey, maybe in a year from now, I shift again into like a slightly different area. This is the good thing of not tying yourself down to a super, like, it's good to be in a niche, but you don't want to be in a really, really tight niche where there's no room to move around. You don't want to be in like, I am doing the Ubuntu server with Nginx videos. Like, there's only so much you can talk about there, and it's going to get very, very boring very quickly.
Yeah. Well, you can find ways to make it exciting, but it's like, you absolutely, that is a really important point. Yeah, you need to find a niche. So you need to find something that you enjoy, keep doing even for a longer time, but it also need to resonate with a part of the audience in the best way. A big audience. But that's where you need to find that sweet spot, right? Where you want to be and where there is an audience that's watching. But the other thing is, and maybe this might be a tip, but that's how I figured out on YouTube since I started. Because you, as a content creator in the Linux space, I would say you have built yourself an authority. Yeah,
I don't like that I have it, but yes,
you definitely have it.
Yeah, no, distro developers will they will reply to things that I'm saying, like, why are you talking to me? I am just a dude in my bedroom.
Yeah, but the time, don't underestimate yourself. The time that and the effort that you have invested into making this content and pumping out these amazing videos, also with deep dive explanations, this has made you an authority. Yeah, but this takes a long time. Yeah, you need to realize that if you start doing YouTube videos and making videos, oh, here's distro and my opinion about this distro is blah blah blah. Who cares, right? If you haven't built yourself an authority, you can't make these videos pretty successful. So what you can do is you start with SEO content, something like distro reviews. It might be boring, but you can do a few of them. Or you can, at least if you don't want to do comparison videos, you can show your favorite distro, right? Or explain, but not just like, I'm using this distro because of this and that, because people don't care about that. People care about, they want to know, they want to learn something. So that's where the SEO algorithm works pretty well. At least for me, I've realized that. So making these explanation videos works really well, especially in the beginning, because people are searching for something, they want to know something. And if there isn't a video that explains it, yeah, and your video shows up there because you're the only video that explains this particular topic in this area, people are going to watch it, no matter how bad it is, how bad quality your camera is or your microphone. It all doesn't matter, because people want to know it, and you are the only one explaining it in a good way, right? And then, if you have built this, yeah, if you have spent some time doing this, you have your audience, and you start building yourself in this level of, becoming an authority, and then you can make videos like, hey, I think about this specific distro, this and that, because of these reasons. And people are going to listen to you because they know you. And this is something that I needed to realize, because I started it the other way around. I started making videos like, hey, I switched to Windows because of this and that. But people didn't know me. They don't know, this is just a random dude in his studio explaining why he's switching to Windows. I don't care what this guy's saying. So it was too early for me to make these videos. But at some point, you can go into this route. That's what I figured out as an outcome, for this. I think it's a pretty interesting point.
I had never thought of it like that. That makes so much sense.
That's interesting. I needed 2.5 years to find it out.
Yeah, no, I'm just discovering it right now. So that makes so. Yeah, no, of course. If you want to be talking about, especially if it's something where it's not like, it's not your opinion, but you want people to be if you're going to talk about something important, you want people to trust that what you're saying is actually is what's actually going on. So you want to have that, because most people aren't going to go and read all of your sources. I leave all of my sources in the description whenever I'm doing like big research videos. So you can go and read them if you want to, but most people aren't going to do that. So if you want to be in that position where you are doing those deep dives and looking at any of these topics, you need to have built yourself some level of credibility. That makes so much sense. Why had I never thought of that?
Well, it's the same like when people see these big YouTubers doing these really videos with less substantial and having these great sponsorships about, I don't know, Manscaped or Skillshare or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, so what this, I can do the same. No, you can't, because these guys have built the trust with their community. They have built this credibility that people are going to listen to them. And if they recommend something like Manscaped, people are going to buy it no matter what it is, because what they have done before, the same as goes for Twitch subs or YouTube memberships. People are not going to give you money because they like what you do now. They give it to you because you have helped them across a pretty long time period. Yeah, they or they subscribe to you, or they support you because what you have done before, because you have helped them before, you have changed something in their lives, or whatever it is, or you have entertained them. Yeah, if it's not educational content, they have watched all of your videos before, and you made them laugh a lot, or they had a great time watching these videos, and that's when the people are going to give something back, right? And I see so many content creators, or especially in the Twitch community, Twitch streamers, who go the complete different way. They think like, oh, I just need to copy what those big guys do, and they completely miss this part of this building this credibility and building this. And this takes so much time, and you're not getting anything back, especially in the first years or months, whatever it is. But at some point, when you be consistent, I think you can build this authority. And this is I thought about this a long time, and this is why I currently see myself in this. I'm currently in a mid phase, because I think a lot of people know my channel, especially in the home lab. I see that I get a lot of reactions even from bigger channels in the home lab space, because people are watching this stuff. So I have some kind of credibility there, but I'm not I'm not finished, right? My goal is to be even more successful, so I need to push out more inspirational, educational videos. I need to help people more. I need to, do this instead of just making opinionated videos for this what I, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I see it. But it, this is how it works for my channel.
No, I totally get what you're saying there. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know where to segue from that.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know what to segue. Yeah, I completely agree there. Like, I've not put as much thought. Like, I've clearly not put as much thought as you into the I guess the SEO side, the foundational side of like what makes a channel a good channel. For the most part, I kind of just wing it. Like, I sort of slowly trudged through the swamp into this point where I feel like I'm doing quite well now. Like, the channel in the past, I think 3 or 4 months has actually kind of started to pick up a bit. Like, my watch time, I did something and my watch time like went up like an average of 2 minutes. I'm like gaining subs at a much quicker rate at this point. So I've done some, like, this current shift I've done in the content is clearly a good direction for, like, you know, the style of videos that fits with this channel. Like, even though I built this audience with slightly different content, this direction I'm going has sort of brung all that together and pushed it out to a much larger audience than I was a part of before. And it wasn't something that happened overnight, but it did start to build over and over again. And now it's much more consistently in that range of like that much larger watch time, that much larger sub growth. And I think the position that I'm in is there's just not that many people in the Linux space. First, there's not that many people in the Linux space. Secondly, there's not that many people in the Linux space doing videos in the style that I'm doing. Like, there's a lot of people doing the distro reviews. There's a lot of people doing the purely opinionated stuff. There's a lot of people just doing, you know, looking at software or doing tutorials on stuff. But there's not that many people doing... There are certainly news channels like Nick from the Linux Experiment. He does his, I think, weekly news series. I don't remember exactly how often it is.
Yeah.
He does his news series, but there's not that many people doing these like single topic, super deep dives. Like, there are times when I will just read a mailing list for like 2-3 hours, digging up like what the developers are saying about this specific issue. Like, not many people are doing that, and I think the way that I'm sort of divulging that to the users, sort of bringing it into this more compressed form. I think whatever I'm doing with that is working, and I think whatever I'm doing is clearly working right now, and I'm gonna keep going down that path and see where it leads me.
Yeah, sure. Please don't be hesitated or whatever by what I'm saying. This is my thought process that works for my channel. It doesn't necessarily mean it works for a different channel or for a different person. This is something that I also learned. You need to find something that works for yourself. And this is just, you can go through this by trial and error. There's really no way around it. I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube from people who teach how to be successful in YouTube. I watched a couple of them.
Do you want to know do you want to know the funny thing about those channels? A lot of them don't have successful channels. They're successful on YouTube, making videos on how to be successful on YouTube.
Yeah, that's actually quite funny. Well, I was focusing on the big ones. There are a couple of big channels doing this kind of content. But the interesting thing is, everything that I learned was not from these channels. It is from my own experience, from this trial and error process that I've gone through. And this is where you learn the best and the most. Because what these guys are telling you on YouTube is, and this is an assumption from my side, and this is always the same with any consulting or course selling YouTube kind of business idea is they teach you the basic stuff, yeah, because they want you to start. But if you really want to be successful, you need to buy my course.
Yeah.
And then I'm telling you all the secrets there. That's what I always see from these channels. And yeah, their basic tips are helpful to get started, but most of the stuff that I learned, I've gone through trial and error, and this is where you get the most substantial knowledge, I guess.
No, I think
sure, you can buy a course,
I
but
think they
you
do a
still
great
need to
job.
make the experience.
I hate Discord sometimes. What I was going to say is I think they do a good job at teaching you how SEO works, how titling works, how thumbnailing works, how this stuff I think you can teach. But when it comes to
this is right,
the feel of what makes sense for not just what makes sense as a video topic, but what makes sense in the way that you speak with your style of presentation for the best kind of video that you would make. Like, I could write a video script for you, and you could do my video, but it's not going to be the kind of video that you make. It's going to be a very different style of video, and the way that you approach a video might be very different. Like, it might just not work with what I put together. Even if on my channel, it would be like, a 100,000 view video. Like, just because you speak in a very different way, you present in a different way, that's the stuff you can't really teach. You can get ideas about stuff, and
absolutely,
that's about as far as you can really go with that. That's the way that I feel about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I believe this is because everyone is unique. And if you try to imitate something, or it's just not going to work. It's also pretty hard to read from a script. Yeah, that's what these are sometimes the struggles that I go through. I can clearly say, well, not 100% accurate, but most of the time, who is using a script and who's not. Because you can feel the difference. If you watch some of my videos and you watch this conversation or the live streams, you definitely hear the difference. You can see, oh, I was reading from a script in this video. I think I hope at least I'm pretty good at trying to make it as natural as possible. But there will always be something like, you kind of see it when you really try to focus on that. So reading from a script is pretty hard to make it natural, to make it good, entertaining. That's kind of hard. But this is also what I wanted to say. This because everyone is unique. For some people that might work. Some people can't read from a script. They say like, "Oh, it's not going to work." Other people prefer this way. I also gone through some process. Like first, I tried to do it without a script. Then I started to make like the introduction, and the rest was unscripted. Now I completely switched to a point where I script everything. But this is like, it's actually pretty difficult.
I've slowly been moving towards that. I still don't write a full script, but I went from nothing and just talking, going through all of that, and it doesn't work. Like, for certain types of videos it can work, but a technical video you cannot do completely unscripted. Then I went to sort of dot points, like going over the main topics. The problem I had there is sometimes I would write them poorly, and by the time I get to the video, I have no idea what in the world I was talking about. So now I'm sort of in this weird pseudo dot point script thing where some parts are scripted out, other parts are just dot points, and there's a lot of just fill in whatever works here. Like I will include most of what I need to say, but it's not going to be word for word. Like a lot of time I'll write a full script for something and then I completely change it up. Like when I'm on the fly, it's like, hey, maybe saying it this way is going to sound better. And sometimes I'll do multiple takes of different ways of saying something to get it to the point where it feels maybe not the most natural. Like some cases you don't want it to sound really natural, at least with what I'm doing. Sometimes you want it to be we're intentionally emphasizing this for the sake of, comedic value or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get this. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I do it the same way. I just write everything word by word. But sometimes sometimes you have a pretty great idea in mind while you're researching, and then you write it down word by word because you want to say it in this particular way. Yeah. I totally get it. This is also the reason why I started writing scripts, because for me it doesn't work without. It's interesting. That you also script specific parts, but you don't read it word by word. That's what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
you sometimes you improvise a lot over your script. Yeah, but you need to you need to write down something.
Yeah.
Just like you said. Yeah, especially when you're explaining a topic. There are certain videos that I have done without a script. On my second channel, the German channel, I've done one video without a script, and this was about my apprenticeship in IT. So I started my job because there I could just completely tell a story from my past. So this works without a script. But when I explain something, well, I need to write it down.
One of the things I will really commonly do is I will have when I go through my notes script, whatever you want to call it, I will draft it like 3 or 4 times. But sometimes when I get to actually recording the video, I get to that section, I'm like, wait, why is this here? Wouldn't it make way more sense if I like swap these sections around? And I'll go through all of the topics, but it's just like, for some reason, when I'm just going through that planning phase, sometimes you don't really think of the video flow in the way it would actually sound. Like sometimes I will actually like when I'm drafting stuff, I will actually like do a dry run of the video, basically just going through the script, going through the notes to make sure it actually makes sense. But even doing that, like there's a lot of times where I'm like, no, this doesn't actually make any sense.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah, you need to switch sometimes the ordering. Yeah. Same case for me. Yeah, I write the script, but I often change it. Sometimes I swap sections around because it makes sense to explain something before doing another step and so on. Yeah, totally get it.
Well, we should probably be ending this soon because I would like to go a bit longer, but
I had the same feeling.
I have to make food before I go to work. So
yeah, but to be honest, I haven't really done any podcast or live streaming for months, and this made so much fun. I need to do live streaming again, man.
I always enjoy these. Like, I've done 130 or something of these, and they're always fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let the people know.
Always fun when I'm here.
Well, let the people know where they can find you.
Well, they can find me on YouTube, Twitter, obviously, the Digital Life on YouTube. Then you can find me. And my second channel you can find with my name, Christian Lemper. And this is also where you can find me on Twitter. Yeah, and read some of my funny Linux community comments.
I will make sure all of that stuff is linked in the description down below.
Awesome.
As for me, main channel is Brody Robertson. I do Linux videos and tech videos there. Gaming channel is Brody Robertson Plays. Right now we are playing through The World Ends With You and probably still Cult of the Lamb. If you're listening to the audio version of this, it is available on YouTube at Tech Over Tea. If you are watching the video version, the audio version is available as an RSS feed. You can find it on any podcast platform. Chuck in your favorite podcast app and go ahead like that. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Not really. I'm so happy, and yeah, this was so much fun, and I always enjoy being here. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
It's always great to have you here, man.
Listening.
Well, that's gonna be it then. What's your final word? What do you want to say to end off the podcast?
I let you end the podcast.
Oh wow, you're the first person who's ever sent it back to me. Well, that's gonna be it for me. So I'm out.